This is not strictly a fix-it video, but it should benefit anyone who's thinking of installing a CCTV system. Stay tuned. So the other day I had a knock at my door and it turned out it was my next door neighbour, and he was there to inform me that he'd had some tools stolen from his works van. Now luckily he had a CCTV system and he managed to pull up the video of the guys actually taking the stuff from his van. But what he'd tell me, he noticed that they actually came on my driveway first before coming out and stealing stuff from his van. Now that got me a little worried. So I did a little bit of research, and did you know that approximately 498 home burglaries occurred in the year 2023 to 24 every single day, totaling over 181,000 incidents that year alone. And this is just residential properties. If we include both residential and non-residential, that figure rises to around 655 burglaries every single day. And did you know that a significant proportion of those burglaries remain unsolved? In fact, it's only 6% of those burglaries that lead to a conviction. So that led me to reevaluate my home security system that I've got in place at the moment. Now the Ring cameras I have do not support 24/7 monitoring. And also if you did have those cameras, you then need to subscribe to the premium plan on Ring, which at this moment is £16 a month or £160 per year. But to do that, I would have to change all of my Ring cameras. So that got me thinking, why don't I just install my own home CCTV system that supports 24/7 continuous recording and stores it locally with an option to send to the cloud maybe in the future. So I then started researching continuous recording CCTV systems and I discovered this one. This is the Reolink RLK8 410B4 5MP. That's a mouthful. This system seemed to fit all of my requirements, is upgradable and only costs £299. So I bought one, and in this video we find out what's in the box, I go through the initial setup and go through the full installation process. I also bought a couple of other items. One is a network cable plug or RJ45 crimping tool and a box of 5mm cable clips for the camera's cables. Right, let's check out what's in this box. And here is the box. Yeah, it's pretty big for me top-down cam, but this is what it looks like from the side. So what we'll do is let's cut it open and see what we get inside. So inside we can see two boxes. One has the name of the network video recorder on it, and the other one, all the pieces. I'm expecting the cameras in this one here. So let's pull these out and see what we've got. So we'll start with what we know is the NVR, though, the network video recorder first. Very, very nicely boxed, I must admit. Reolink on there, look. Let's have a look inside here. Oh yes, there she is. So some more parts in there, but we'll come back to that. So this is the NVR itself, so let's check it out. It's smaller than I thought it would be. Very nice. Look at that, that's lovely, isn't it? Right, so I'm not going to go through all of this stuff because there's loads of videos on this, but you've got all the buttons and the stuff on the front which help you use the menu system without a mouse. And on the back, this is the main thing here, we have the 8 ports. This will take 8 cameras. This kit, I bought 4 cameras with it, but you can upgrade to another 4 if need be. And you've got all the connections. Obviously we need to connect to the network. I'm going to talk about my solution for that later. And HDMI, USB, VGA, and obviously the power on and off switch. Let's see what else is in the box. This box is now empty. Right, so what we got is a nice HDMI cable. Right, okay, so what these are the templates for the cameras. So you can just hold them against the wall and you just drill through the 3 holes to mount your cameras. Plenty of these, we'll be sticking these up outside. Statement of compliance, waterproof lid installation guide, operation instructions. I'm hoping that it is fairly straightforward and I don't need those. So you also get supplied this little box, so what's in here? Aha, okay, so we've got a nice network cable. We have a power supply for the actual NVR itself, and look at this, they even give you a USB mouse. Very nice. So that was the first box, so let's see what we've got in the second box. And yes, as expected, this is the 4 cameras and all of the fixing screws and wall plugs. So we have 4 cables, RJ45. Then we've got these, which are, this is the waterproofing connector that you need to use if you're leaving your RJ45 outside. Then the cameras themselves. So I went for this type of camera. Wow, look at these. These are nice, aren't they? So you do get a length of cable on the camera itself. So what I'm hoping is if I can mount this in a position where I can get this part of the cable and push it into a dry area, just like that, so all you're going to see is that bit of wire coming out from there, then I won't need to use the waterproofing connectors for RJ45. Again, we'll cover that when we look at the installation. So now let's take a look at the NVR installations. So obviously we're going to need the NVR for this. Keep the booklet there just in case I do get confused. Now they do supply an HDMI cable, but I have a TV screen here with HDMI already set up. So I'm going to move the NVR over to this. Obviously I'll bring the camera over so you can see the screen, because I can't video capture from this screen unfortunately. But let's plug this in first and get it ready to use the screen. So we'll plug in the mouse to the USB, which I'm assuming is on the back. We'll plug in the power supply, making sure the switch is off at the moment. Right, let's plug it into the TV screen now and power it up and see what we get. Right, so here we are. As I say, I haven't got video capture unfortunately, but you should be able to see it. So let's power on the unit now. Oh, look at that. Be prepared. Right, okay, so we've now obviously gone into a setup. Oh, look, the mouse works, yeah. So go English, leave that screen resolution, date format, day, month, year, yeah, 24 hour, yes please. Next. So this is just for access via WAN. So I'm going to turn this one on because I probably do want to access it from when I'm away from the home. Next. System time. Pacific Standard? I don't think so. We're going to go with Dublin, Edinburgh, London. There we go. So we're going to go with that one, and we're going to have daylight saving as well. Time offset, 1 hour. Super account, look at that. So I think when you click on here, what will happen is it'll pop up a little keyboard on the screen. So let me just set a password. Right, so set the password now and require password, log in when unlocking the screen. Yes, please. Next, I'll just select a question. So here you can change the name. So I may just change the change this to next. Network. Right, so I'll leave this on automatic for network access. Email settings. I think we'll leave this for now, and we'll probably come back and do that maybe in the future if I need it. Right, so here we go. Look, it's got space for the cameras, but we've got no camera there. So what I need to do now is take the cameras out of the box, plug them in to this unit so that it pulls it up, but just check everything is working. So as you can see now, the cameras are starting to come online. So what we'll just do is, I think we go down here, we can change this to 4 cameras rather than all them. Hey, look at that. So there's all 4 cameras, and I've just got them pointing in different directions so I know which is which. Right, what's left to do now is to connect this up to the internet and to get the app working on my phone. Now, I've got a little cunning way I'm going to connect this to the internet because I want to install this NVR in the loft. Let me show you my solution. So yeah, so my solution to get this into the loft is to use one of these Ethernet over power adapters. Now, I've got one down next to my router with it plugged in to my router. So all I need to do is to plug this into the mains, plug an Ethernet cable from this into my box, and we should have a network. Let's check it out and see if it works. So first of all, let's go to the network settings, which is here, and it's not connected at the moment. So now we'll plug this in to the Ethernet port, then using the power adapter, plug that into there, and then we'll plug this into the mains power, and hopefully we should see that we get a network address. Right, and there we go. So we can see now we've got my network is 192.168.1, and it's picked up an IP address on that subnet. So now we've got the internet, we can now look at getting the app and accessing my unit via the app. So in the manual you do have this QR code here, so let's scan that and see if we can download the app. So yep, so we're just downloading the app now. Right, so fire up the app and allow it to connect. Right, so what it's saying here, I think it's saying I'm not logged into a device. Admin, right, so I just need to enter the password here, so let's enter the password and access. And as we can see now, I can see all of this stuff on the device. Look, I can look at the channels, cameras. So let's go back to the main page, and there we are, look at that. So that leads me nicely on to the NVR installation, and as I said, this is going to be installed in my loft. And welcome to my loft. So this is where we're going to install it. Let me show you what I've got in mind. So I do already have power up here, which is a triple power supply. That is powering the extractor fans for the toilets. That's one of them there. So I'm going to use this socket. So to do that, we'll turn this off, unplug this one, and I've brought a 4-way extension lead now to give me an extra socket, which I'm going to need. Now plugs in there, and plug that now into there, and power it back on. Now I can plug the Ethernet of a power plug back into here, and that leaves me another socket over here, which I can plug the power unit in for the NVR. And that's all the power sorted, that's all ready to go. So let me show you how I'm going to put the NVR. So there's a couple of beams just here that meet at a right angle, and I've got this piece of board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw that piece of board onto those beams there, and that allows me nicely to sit the NVR on there. Lovely. Let's go get some screws and let's screw that board down and do that. Perfect. Now we can plug in the power and the network. And now we can turn the box on, wait for it to boot up and see if we can get access to it on the application. Right guys, I've got a body worn camera upside down, so hopefully I can capture sort of video upright like that. As I'm working up a ladder, I need to have my hands free to hold the ladder and also use my tools. So I'm going to start with one of the corners of the house. Now I'm not going to show you all around the house because obviously that's a security breach. So what I'll do is I'll put the ladder up and then I'll pick this up again when I get up the ladder, just so I can see how I'm going to mount this camera. Here we are, so this is where I'm going to mount it. So what we do have is we have these things, and I'm going to stick one on the wall here, which is where I think I'm going to mount the first camera, and I'm going to tape it on, and then we can come back and we can drill these holes and get this camera in position. Right, I'll go get the drill now and we'll drill those holes. So that's it, that's the first camera mounted. So I'm just going to put it in position roughly, because obviously without me having anything connected, I can't see what it's looking at. So that's going to be looking down there. Now, I was talking about this wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole in here, and then I'll push some stiff electric cable up into obviously the loft, hopefully space, and I'm going to attach the Ethernet cable to the end of it and then pull it through. So let's go get the drill and see what we can see when we're drilling there. And for this I'm going to use my step drill, so I can drill a hole as big as I think it needs, so I can push these cables through it. So I brought up the stiff electric wire that I've mentioned with me as well, it's around my neck. So I'm going to hopefully push this in to the eaves. Right, so I'm going to leave that there now, and I'm going to go into the loft and see if I can see that in the far corner. Right guys, so I've had to really crawl myself into the loft space, and this is the area it should be coming up. I think I can see something in that corner there, so let's go and have a look and see if I can find it. I see the wire, I see the wire. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take two of these cables, because I'm putting two cameras in this corner, and I'm going to attach these cables to the wire, and I should be able to go outside and gently ease it out. I don't know if you can see down there, but the black bit is where I've taped both the cables on. So let's go back outside and give that a nice little gentle pull and see if we can get these two cables out to the cameras. Back up the ladder now, and hopefully if I pull this cable out gently, we'll bring those wires with it. Oh, there's one and there's two. We have the cables. Right, so we can now plug in this camera like so, and we can then tuck it out the way, so we don't need to have, take that cover off, it's quite big. We can tuck that in there like so. That's it, so we don't need, all we need to do is fill this hole in, which I'll do with some sealant, but we don't need to use the waterproof connectors. Right, so I'm going to go off and do all the other cameras now. You don't need to see these, and for the security, I'm not letting you know where they are. I'll come back to you when I've got it all finished. Well, there we go. So I mean, that ended up being a little bit of a pain. Some of those cameras were absolute a devil to get into the places that I wanted them to be, but I did manage to do it. I got all my 4 cameras, and as you can see now, we do have all the 4 cameras on the screen there, and this is the Reolink app that you can run on your Mac, and so you get full access. So you don't really need access to the actual NVR itself, because you've got access on your phone and you've got access via an app. I think there's a Windows app as well, and this is absolutely superb. You can do everything on this that you can do by plugging in directly to the NVR. So that's going to be it for this video. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because it really does help with the analytics, and give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Have fun installing your CCTV system. See you on the next one.